Hello and welcome to the Ray Edwards Show. This is a more philosophical edition of the show, but it's really important you listen if you have a personal brand. Really important you hear me because I'm going to tell you something that's going to set you free. If you've ever been caught in the grist mill of, I don't even know what a grist mill is, so look it up. I may not mean what I said. If you ever felt like you've been in the grinder because people keep telling you need to niche down, and you keep saying, I don't know how to niche down. It scares me to niche down. By niching down, I mean perhaps your personal brand is in the fitness and health area. And people say to you, well, you can't be fitness and health because if you do that, it's too broad. You need to be more narrow. So you say, okay, fitness and health for bodybuilders. And they say niche down even more because you want to be more narrow, more specialized. You want to be a category of one. I've said this myself. You've heard me say it to you on this podcast. But you need to know the rest of the full truth. Because I've really been thinking about this. After our mastermind meeting last week, we had our paid mastermind that comes here to Spokane to meet with me. And we were here for 3 days, and there's a lot of discussion about this. I've been thinking about it very deeply for them and for myself. And I realized I don't believe most of what's being said about personal brands, about niching down. I don't believe it because I don't do it. That's how you know I don't believe it. I don't do it. You want to know somebody believes something? See what they do. You need to be doers of the word, not hearers only. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. So they say you got to niche down further. So you go, okay, well, isn't being in the fitness and health industry for bodybuilders, isn't that? No, you got to be more specific. Okay. Male bodybuilders, fitness and health, blood sugar and fat control. Now you're getting somewhere, they say. So pre-diabetic male bodybuilders over the age of 45 and who you're advising them in fitness, health, and nutrition. That's pretty niche down, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty niche down. And maybe you may have done that and you may be looking at your business saying, I don't even like my business anymore. I'm not just one thing. I got other things I want to talk about, other things I want to do. But you feel like every article you publish, every social media post you make, every video you make, every product you make, everything you do has to be in, quote, alignment with your brand. Now let me ask you, is that how you live your life? When you're going to dinner, do you say to your husband or your wife, your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, do you say, well, we got to figure out a place to go that aligns with our brand? Maybe you do if you're an influencer. Sorry, I love you influencers. You got to take that picture of your meal before you eat. I've done it. Get off me. All right, so the point is, that's not how you live your life. Your life, if you're a full, well-rounded person, is a blank canvas which you fill with all kinds of different paints and sketches and charcoal and drawings and ink and 3D models, and it's just stuff you're interested in, right? I'm just trying to paint a picture. That was not a very good one. You are a varied person. You have varied interests. You have different things you like to do. You have different areas of life. And when you start thinking about how do I assemble that and align that all into a personal brand, just think about the stuff that people try to sell you to build your personal brand. What do they try to sell you? You got to have a website. You got to have a blog. You got to have social media accounts. You got to get clients. You got to set up your rates and your fees. You got to niche down first. You got to think about masterminds and writing books and having articles. You got to have some products and services, industry conferences and events, workshops. You got to have systems and procedures. Now, I have all those things in my business, and just thinking about it from a beginner perspective, like I got to start a business, I got to do all this stuff, that's freaking overwhelming. Who can do all that? And then there's even more. There's like, I've got a list here, industry conferences and events, workshops, systems, procedures, personal and professional knowledge management. That's a whole subject unto itself, but you got to master that now because everybody else has mastered it, it seems. Digital courses, apps, dashboards, project management, video, photos, documenting what you do, building in public. It's not bad enough we have to build a business from scratch and we're scared to death to do it. We have to build it in public. Isn't that fun? Creating content, podcasts, YouTube videos, domain names. You got to figure out your domain names. You got to have memberships or be a member of memberships. You got to take care of ad management. You got to know about AI, about copywriting, about leadership, about self-improvement. You got to take care of your health and wellness for yourself, or else you won't be able to run your business. You won't be alive to have one. You got to learn new things. You got to take classes, take courses. You got to grow as a person. Oh, and then you want to make some contribution to the world to make it a better place. You want to spend some time with your family. You want to give to charity. You want to be a good citizen. It's no wonder people don't ever get started. It's so much. And usually that's caused by the fact that now I love capitalism, but there's flaws to our capitalistic system, or there's pitfalls to it. And one of the pitfalls is everybody's got something to sell. So you got to go back to that old adage of think about who profits and why they're profiting. I have things to sell. I'm profiting. You got to think about my motives as well. At least I'm talking about this. So what does this have to do with niching down? Well, I'm going to get there. The reason you feel so conflicted about niching down and having to do all these different things is because there are different vendors trying to sell you different stuff. There's people who want to sell you the website. There's people who want to sell you the website design. People who want to sell you the website copy. People who want to sell you your social media setup. People who want to be your social media manager. People who want to write your social media content. People who want to film your social media videos. Do you see what I'm saying? So each of them emphasizes their thing as the most important thing. And none of that is true. There are people who want to sell you systems on how to sell by webinar, how to sell by video sales letter, how to sell by sales letter, copywriters, copywriting teachers, copywriting coaches. Look, when I started my business, I did it all myself. All of it. For several years. I know lots of other people who've done the same thing. Brendan Burchard did everything himself. Michael Hyatt did everything himself. Amy Porterfield in the beginning did everything herself. I'm not saying you have to do it all yourself. You don't have to. If you have money so you can get help, that's one thing. You've got either money or you got time. If you don't have any money but you have time, do it yourself. If you don't have any time but you got money, hire other people to help you. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Listen to me carefully. Here's the point. Because there are vendors and service providers and companies who have apps and services and stuff to sell you, they're each trying to be the latest and loudest message you've heard about what you need to buy. So you end up buying these products, these digital courses, going to conferences, going to workshops, buying pre-written procedures and systems, buying websites and systems on how to get clients and sales scripts and social media scripts and AI copywriters like we sell and courses on copyright. And there's all these different things, and everybody's saying their thing is the most important thing. I'll tell you what the most important thing is, and it'll shock you. No, it's not copywriting. The most important thing is you. As my friend Mike Kim says in the title of his book, you are the brand. And you are not a niche, my friend. Think about that. Do you want to do business with a person who's an artificially assembled, intentionally created persona that does not exist, but they represent a good representation for the niche? Is that what you want to be? Or do you want to be yourself, doing the business that you love, serving people in the way you love to do it, and getting joy from that, and being honest about who you are and what you do? Wouldn't you rather be that? Okay, we can start. We got somewhere we can start now. So you got to be yourself. And I'm not saying you don't start by selecting a niche to serve. I started out as a copywriter for writing copy for live events. That's how I got my start. I wrote copy, sales pages for seminars and workshops because I love that stuff. I still do a lot of that to this day. But I'm not only a copywriter. And from the very beginning, I was unable to contain my content to just only copywriting stuff. I wanted to talk about other things, and I did. And I did it despite the niche down people screaming at me from the bleachers saying, Ray, you got to niche down. Stop talking about your faith. Stop talking about your ideas about capitalism. Stop talking about the books you like to read. Just talk about copywriting. And I was like, no, that's boring. It's not who I am. So I run the danger here of sharing something with you that will make you now go off and send a scattered, unfocused message to your audience. And that's the last thing I want to do. Your business, service, or product should be hyper-focused on a niche. Your personality, which forms the unique part of your brand, should not. And what do you do with that? I can't explain that to you in a 20-minute podcast. But you think about it, you journal about it, discuss it with your intelligent friends. And I'll give you this little nutshell summary of what I suggest you do. You just need a few things to get your personal brand really. If you've been trying to get your personal brand going, you can't seem to get any traction with it, think about this. First, you need a strategy. Okay, so if I was a copywriter starting a personal brand, I would want to get my personal brand established as a copywriter. So I would have my website or blog. It would be a blog, and it would be an up-to-date, modern website-looking blog. Make of that what you will. There's many ways to do it. WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, whatever you want to use. I don't care. You start publishing content. If you're going to be a copywriter, you should publish some written content. For God's sake, you're a writer. Write something. So you publish some content about copywriting, preferably, about your take on it, about what you like, what you don't like, about what works, what doesn't work. If you have an opinion about that, I'm sure you do. Everybody's got an opinion about copywriting. So publish on that. Make some kind of offer, and then start publishing things that reflect your personality in a way that relates to copywriting, perhaps, in a way that displays your copywriting ability, perhaps, because everything is copy, my friends. Your social media posts are copy. So if you write them well and they sparkle, you don't have to say a word about copywriting, but your clients are going to be looking at that going, dang, she's a great writer. That's what you want. That's who you are. That's not made up. So you need a strategy. That's a strategy I just gave you. Strategy is publish content that displays your talent. That's a strategy. People get confused about strategy and tactics. I'll say a couple of words about this. We'll wrap it up. Strategy is the overall approach. Like, build your service and your personal brand in public by saying, I'm building a personal brand. I'm going to get myself established on the web. I'm going to be working on my own. I'm not going to be working for a company anymore. I'm the company. And you start writing and publishing things, and you start making social media posts that maybe aren't about your business, but are written that they represent the thing you do as your business. If you're a copywriter, it's writing. If you're a photographer or videographer, then you're publishing social media photos and videos about your life, but you're displaying your skill at the same time. See how that works? You occasionally pepper in maybe some client projects and stuff you've done for clients. See how that works? You're a smart person. You can figure this out. So the strategy is build it in public, show your work, as Austin Kleon says in his book by the same title. And then the tactics are the specific actions you take to support the strategy. So the strategy is build it in public, show your work. We've talked about that already. Publishing your photos and videos, if you're a photographer or videographer, of your life in a way that displays your skill and talent without blatantly selling, that's a tactic. Then occasionally sending out an email to your email list or making a post on your blog saying, hey, I've got availability if you'd like to talk about a project, set up a consultation call with me. Here's the link. That's a tactic. It's a selling tactic. So your strategy, then you need strategy first, then you set goals. Like you want to make X number of dollars per year. So you set that goal and you figure out what tactics do I need to employ to make those numbers. Then what tools do I need to get the job done? Website, email list provider, service provider, design. There's just a few tools you'll need to get things done, just a few. Then I think you also need a couple other things that are not going to be super popular, but you need a guide, somebody to come alongside you and who can show you the way because they've been that way before. And that's going to sound self-serving because you're going to say, here it is. Here's Ray's pitch for his mastermind or something like that. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe your guide is a friend. Maybe your guide is somebody you know personally who will give you some advice. Maybe it is somebody's mastermind or coaching program. Maybe it's mine, maybe it's somebody else's. That's not my point here today. My point here today is you need a guide if you want to get there faster and avoid some of the biggest mistakes that you're going to make along the way. Because if you try to do it all on your own, like I did in the beginning, you're going to make some big, stupid mistakes like I did in the beginning because I didn't have anybody to help me because I was too arrogant. I thought I knew everything. That's just the truth. So you need a guide and companions. Your guide is the person who's wiser than you. The guide is the person who's wiser than you and wiser than your companions because they have more experience and more wisdom. Your companions are people maybe who are along the same path as you, going in different directions, maybe different niches, but they're your peers and they support you when you need some help emotionally or physically. When you're emotionally down or physically worn out, they can step in and help you. They can give you advice. They can help you read the label on the bottle that you're inside of. Because you know the saying, it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. That's what your companions are for. So a guide and some companions. And you need time. You can't do this overnight. You can't build a $1 million business between now and tomorrow morning. So the things you need to build a personal brand, you don't need the 100 things. You just need strategy, goals, tactics to achieve your goals, the tools to do the job, a guide, some companions, and some time. Those are the things you need. Now, you might acquire many of the 100 tools and other things along the way, but when you chunk it down to those pieces, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces that you need. That covers all the other stuff. You'll know when the right time is, or your guide will help you pick. And if you think you want me to be your guide, maybe, well, we can see. We could discover that together. You can go to workwithray.com and sign up for a coaching session with me, and we'll find out. I'm not going to hard sell you because not everybody's the right fit for me. I'm not the right cup of tea for everybody else. Some people just don't like tea. Workwithray.com. Until next time, ponder these things in your heart and do something with them, okay? And may you live long, live deep, and prosper with purpose.